Welcome back to Carolina.
Do you believe it now? We'll have the news of the day from Bill Belichick's intro press conference. HC, UNC. And the aftershocks and fallout, which includes this quote from a confidant. This is a big FU to the NFL. And tonight's huge, potentially large playout game. Rams at Niners, Thursday Night Football. Let's go around the horn.
They'll be pros in all areas, and that's what we want to develop. I do think there are a lot of parallels. There's certainly some differences, but there are some parallels.
Bill, what do you say to people that fear that if you do succeed here, that you might leave for the NFL again in a year or two?
Yeah, I didn't come here to leave.
Bill Belichick, HC-UNC, an intro press conference that hit on all the notes. The hoodie, the cutoff suit on the AD, the remembrance of Steve Belichick, assistant coach, North Carolina, 1953. Belichick even bringing the sweatshirt his dad wore years ago to the conference. The remembrance that young Billy's first words were, "Beat Duke." Belichick saying he always wanted to coach college, and that there are parallels to the NFL, but differences. We also have more details. It's a 5-year deal. UNC yearly NIL budget reported to go up to $20 million. That's up from a reported $4 million. And there's a GM hire already. It's Mike Lombardi, 3 decades of experience in the NFL. Frank Isoli, you're with us on a paddle. Earlier this week, you said there was a path to a hiring here. No one else did. Yeah. David Dennis Jr. is going to lose 501 points. I wasn't here. You're not going to get 501 points, but you are wearing that Tar Heel blue jacket as well. Do you believe there's a path to success here after hearing Belichick at his press conference today?
Oh, I absolutely believe that. And Carolina won the press conference, and that happens a lot when you hire a high-profile celebrity coach. The difference here is that high-profile celebrity coach is also going to win a lot of football games. He has not lost his fastball by any stretch of the imagination. What Deion did, putting Colorado kind of back on the map, Bill Belichick is going to do the same thing. And at that press conference, everyone kept asking him about the adjustment from the NFL to college. He's not heading the physics department. He's coaching football. The guy knows the game as well as anybody. He's a teacher. He'll develop talent. That is a home run for Carolina with that hire.
It may not be the physics department. It may be closer to the economics department right now. And that was a lot of the questions that a panel had going into this. Kevin Blackistone, hearing Belichick today. Did he make you a believer he can find success in North Carolina?
Well, absolutely. Let's not forget, it's not like Mac Brown, who's stepping down just about his same age, is leaving the cupboard bare down there. I mean, Mac Brown already built that program back up. They had an off year this year going 6-6, but that's what he's inheriting there. So that's a winning football program over the last few years. And look, we know that Belichick is one of the best, if not the best, NFL coach ever. He has proven himself there. So now he's stepping over to the college ranks, which is more professionalized now than ever before. It will be an environment in which he will make it an NFL-like environment if it wasn't already, bringing down his guys as well. So he is absolutely going to be successful. It just depends on what the rest of us judge as being successful, what we're going to make that bar for him to have to meet.
I think everyone would then connect the dot if he won in the NFL. I mean, let's be honest. It's a 12-team playoff. The ACC has a part in that playoff every year. I think the expectation is we're going to see North Carolina compete for a championship. Woody Page, I'm sensing a change of tune here. It seemed like, other than Frank, everyone was unanimous this was a disaster a week ago when you first heard it, a disaster 3 days ago when you heard there was a second meeting. How did you hear Belichick today?
Oh, I think this is going to be immediate, profound. It's going to be incredible for North Carolina and for college football. Well, think back to when Nick Saban failed at Miami. He had the same kind of results that Belichick did at the end in New England, but he didn't have a portal to deal with. He did not have pay for play to deal with. He had to recruit which Bill Belichick doesn't have to do with. You mentioned $20 million that he has to work with in the portal. He doesn't have to go into anybody's homes. It's like Deion Sanders told recruits. You know where I live. You can come here and see me. I'm not coming to your house.
Okay.
I just think that this is going to be such a success for North Carolina. And you've got, unlike Saban had to deal with, you've got 12 teams competing for the championship now. I think it's a perfect timing for him. He always wanted to coach in college. I met him when he was a first-time coach in the NFL with Denver in 1978. I think he's going to get the players who associate him with winning Super Bowls. They associate him with Tom Brady. They know what he can do with NFL players. I think he's going to have the same kind of results with
I
North
didn't know
Carolina.
recruiting wasn't part of the head coaching job anymore. I thought it was still something that Belichick would have to do. Bob Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong there. But also, did he make you a believer today?
Well, first of all, if he wants a souvenir from the Choo Choo Justice era, I've got one for him. And he only lives 2 miles from me. He can come pick it up anytime he wants. Now, first of all, let's go back to the question about success. Success is so obvious. 1, beat Duke. 2, win the conference. 3, get into the playoff. And 4, win a national championship. I think they'd be very happy to win the conference within 2 years, and then we'll go from there. I think that he is entering a landscape. You know, but he told them what they wanted to hear about this. I've always dreamed about coaching in college. Yes, he's got a tremendous background. That's where he grew up with his father, et cetera, et cetera. But you know, they wanted to hear that. Fine. You know, who knows how true that really is? I'm not buying that. Okay. But anyway, he'll say what he hopes to say. He's a consummate actor, and people will learn that. The recruiting, by the way, Tony, the recruiting thing, yeah, it's less important because of the portal, because of the money that you're going to buy players, and that's what they do now. And recruiting, I couldn't see him sitting in with a home visit. They still have home visits? I guess they do. But anyway, it's an interesting thing. And here's the other thing. What this says about Carolina themselves, what they want, what is their, why are they doing this? Is it envy of Duke for winning basketball championships? Is it, who knows? But there's something going on here.
I mean, I think we heard it today at the press conference. They want to be the best public university in America. That was said, and that's been said before. But the fact is, from the football perspective, they may have been a sleeping giant compared to their basketball team and their women's soccer team and some of the other programs there, getting them up to speed, Frank Isola. What else do you need to see from Belichick?
Well, a couple of things. The biggest position now in college sports is the general manager, both for basketball and for football. And you talked about Michael Lombardi, who's a very smart football guy. So that's an important role. That's why getting the players in the transfer portal and being good at scouting and knowing how to distribute the money the right way, they could in year one. Let's face it, SMU is a good football program. They're in the college football playoff. Look at the schedule for North Carolina next year. You don't think they could win 10 games? They could be.
Oh, here we go. Looking at the schedule. Yeah, I like what I'm hearing here. Kevin Blackistone?
Well, see there, Frank just set the bar, 10 games. So if they come under, then Frank's going to come back next year and say, see, this was a failure. I told you all along. Look, this is a program that's won double-digit games once in this century. So that's going to be a really high watermark for them. I see them winning 8 games, maybe 9, but I definitely see them being in the conversation for the championship and certainly getting into the playoffs.
Interesting change of tune from panels. You guys weren't all on every panel for the last 2 weeks we've been talking about this. But I heard this is a disaster. I heard a 72-year-old having to go out and find players in the transfer portal, which is already a mystery. I heard some of the greatest coaches of all time, like Nick Saban, have stepped away from this game because it doesn't resemble the game that they once coached. And maybe that's an advantage for Belichick because he didn't coach the previous game. But how it became such an uncertain landscape, it was impossible. But now everybody across the board, unanimous, they're going to compete for a championship immediately. All right. I want to follow up here on the NFL side. Seth Wickersham's reporting today with some windows into that Belichick had shifted in the last year on his view of the league and the openings or potential openings, that they weren't as attractive to Bill, or maybe, likely, vice versa, Bill wasn't as attractive to NFL